Michael could still qualify for Worlds with this.
Exactly. So, you know, if anybody, maybe they haven't been able to go to as many tournaments as they would have liked, they can still always come to Nationals and compete, and there's still a Worlds invitation on the line if they do perform well enough, as we've seen Michael has. So
yeah. And we are seeing Alan's team there on the bottom. We've seen it a few times throughout the tournament. That Ray Ogre core, the Rayquaza, Kyogre, Thundurus, Crobat, Mawile, and Gengar up against Michael. I believe this is the first time we've actually seen Michael on stream all tournament, sort of been flying under the radar. He's running a very standard sort of big six with Bronzong style team here. Groudon, Xerneas, Kangaskhan, Smeargle, Salamence, and Bronzong. So, you know, very standard Pokemon, but when you're a player of Michael's caliber, having those standard Pokemon is a huge advantage.
yeah, he's a really talented player, very good when it comes to prediction, so having these kind of safer, more consistent Pokemon definitely benefits him. But the last time we saw Alan on stream, he ran right through a team almost identical to Michael, so we'll see if Michael plays this matchup any differently.
Yeah, things are getting spooky on the field as well. Alan leading with the Gengar-Crobat combo up against the Smeargle and Salamence. This Crobat-Gengar combo is something that we have seen a little bit from Alan, trapping these Pokemon in, although Salamence and Smeargle are no slouches on their own.
Yeah, previously when we saw Alan play against this type of team, he was locking in a Smeargle and a Kangaskhan. We'll see if this Salamence, rather than the Kangaskhan, gives Michael more of an advantage in this matchup. And personally, I think it will, since we saw before Gengar immune to Kangaskhan's normal type moves. Does have to watch out for Sucker Punch, but does have Will-O-Wisp. Salamence, while it does have Double Edge, it can also Hyper Voice, so there is a threat from the special side.
Yeah, and definitely no, you know, having Salamence out doesn't, you know, makes it so that Michael isn't tempted to use Fake Out on anything, of course, because Gengar is immune to it, and so is the Crobat. Will not be able to flinch. Gengar is going to go ahead and Mega Evolve turn one, trapping in both the Salamence and the Smeargle here. Salamence as well going to go ahead and Mega Evolve turn one to, again, get that offensive pressure. So Salamence and Mega Gengar now both on the field. Crobat going for the taunt onto Smeargle immediately. No Crafty Shield or any kind of defense against that, except for the Mental Herb that Michael is using. Really good tech choice there, but Sludge Bomb comes out onto Salamence, going to deal a lot of damage back. Salamence gets the Tailwind up now, though. Michael's Smeargle with that Mental Herb getting rid of the taunt, goes for a Dark Void, is going to connect against Alan's Pokemon. Is it going to hit both Pokemon? It's going to hit the Gengar, and it's going to hit the Crobat. So both Pokemon now asleep thanks to the Dark Void from Smeargle. Crobat will be able to eat that Lumberry and wake it up, but with Tailwind up as well, that can be a very dangerous Pokemon. And speed rises again. So it didn't even need the Tailwind, but the accuracy drop there.
The accuracy drop could be a little tricky because
that really hurts.
Yeah, being able to Dark Void and be faster than Crobat on the following turn certainly would have been beneficial, but now you're on the risk of missing, and it's not like you can switch out Smeargle either because of that Mega Gengar.
Of course, Crobat does have to worry about the damage coming out from Salamence.
Yes, and on the bright side, Crobat cannot knock out Salamence if Super Fang is the only damaging move. It would take way too many turns for that to eventually happen. So Salamence not really threatened right now.
Ooh, Smeargle does go for the Dark Void again, but Crobat is able to avoid it. Hyper Voice coming out from Salamence, not enough to pick up the KO. Crobat, though, will get another taunt off. So Michael's Smeargle is now taunted. No more Dark Voids coming out from it. And unless Smeargle's packing some offensive moves, you have to imagine it has to switch out here, even though it's getting an evasiveness boost there.
Yeah, it won't be able to switch out because of the Mega Gengar. But Salamence threatens KOs on both Crobat and Gengar with another Hyper Voice. Tailwind's up, so it will be faster. Of course, there is a chance Gengar wakes up and protects itself.
Yeah.
Crobat, we don't often see protect, so there's a chance that won't have it. Maybe we see a switch there. Because otherwise it'll just get outsped and KO'd by Michael Salamence.
All right, and Smeargle, of course, only being able, if it only has non-attacking moves, will only be able to struggle now after the taunt. But if Salamence picks up the double KO there, that might not be too big of a deal.
Right, because then if you don't have a target to use Struggle on, I believe you won't take any recoil damage from Struggle.
Yeah, normally Smeargle would be dealing 25% of its own HP with it when it struggles. Gengar, though, stays asleep, unable to get the Protect off, doesn't wake up. Smeargle has no moves, goes before the Salamence because of the Moody boost, is still damaged by the Struggle damage. Hyper Voice from the Salamence will be able to pick up the KO on Gengar and a critical hit on Crobat. So Salamence is able to take down both of Alan's leads. So now Alan will be able to switch in both of his back two Pokemon. Does get to force the switch out from the Smeargle.
That's big.
accuracy increase from Smeargle if that taunt runs out soon.
Exactly. If that taunt ever runs out, you've got evasion increase, speed increase now, even an accuracy increase.
But you have to imagine that Smeargle has to switch out here.
Right. Since you're taunted and you're struggling, you really do want to switch Smeargle out. But at the same time, I don't know the Salamence moveset. Maybe if it's got like a Draco Meteor or something, it can take out the Rayquaza. But I'm sure Alan will be aware of that possibility and not let his Rayquaza faint so easily. At the same time, you run the risk of switching in. It depends on what Michael's last 2 Pokemon are, but switching into a Rayquaza and a Kyogre is always really dangerous. If he's got the Groudon on his team, this would be a prime opportunity to bring it in because Kyogre, or
the Rayquaza is out on the field.
Right.
So really limiting Michael's options. If he has both of his restricted Pokemon, would have to switch into Xerneas here, which doesn't want to take free damage.
Yeah, so you don't really want to switch in here against the threat of Rayquaza and Kyogre.
You may just give Smeargle up here.
Yeah, that's what I think is probably his best move.
We'll have to see what Michael chooses to do. Obviously, you can tell he is thinking this through, taking most of his command time here.
The struggle would be nice if it hits Rayquaza. Just in case it does have a Focus Sash, it would break that. And then Salamence could either Hyper Voice or Double Edge the Kyogre. Preferably the Double Edge if he's looking to get a whole lot of damage down.
Michael does still have the Tailwind up, but the extreme speed coming out from Salamence, or from Rayquaza will pick up the KO onto Salamence. So Salamence goes down. Smeargle does stay in, is going to use the struggle onto the Kyogre though, so not on the Rayquaza, not trying to break any potential Focus Sashes there. Kyogre taking some damage, uses the Ice Beam right back against the Smeargle. So that should be able to pick up the KO. No evasiveness. Did have an evasiveness boost, but still connects. Smeargle goes down, and Tailwind crucially ends there as well for Michael's team.
Yeah, so if Xerneas is in the back, that will be great for Michael because you can get up a Geomancy, and you're not super worried about Kyogre after you get that Geomancy up. Oh, we see
Bronzong. Interesting choice. So Bronzong and Groudon in the back for Michael. So no Xerneas, only relying on Groudon now to take control of this match. Should be able to get up a Trick Room here if it wants.
Yeah, with the with Rayquaza's Airlock, the Water move from Kyogre won't be doing nearly as much damage to Bronzong, so there's no way it will take it out. And then Bronzong resisting Rayquaza's moves, certainly a prime opportunity to get up the Trick Room.
Depends on how much Michael knows about the speed of Alan's Kyogre, if he even wants to go for that, though.
True, good point. But considering Michael's got a Trick Room mode, I imagine his Groudon will move before Kyogre in Trick Room.
Well, Groudon is going to go ahead and protect itself. Alan, recognizing that the Protect Trick Room play is the play, goes for the damage onto Bronzong. It doesn't do much damage at all. Poor Rayquaza there, dropping its defenses as well for its efforts. Origin Pulse into the Protect, but will connect with the Bronzong. Going to deal some damage, not as much as you might want, but it deals pretty good damage. Bronzong is able to set up the Trick Room though, and now it can start setting up Gravity and getting some boosts for that Groudon. And it really needs Kyogre to, Groudon really needs to get that Kyogre off the field, or else it's still threatening Origin Pulse.
Yeah,
or the Rayquaza.
It's going to be really tricky. I think the only hope here is Bronzong getting a Hypnosis off because we saw no recoil on that Rayquaza, so you imagine it has to have a Focus Sash. So you're really going to have to rely on maybe a Double Protect, then maybe a Hypnosis. But at the same time, if Rayquaza's got something like Water Pulse or any kind of water move, then Groudon may be able to survive that. So maybe go for a Hypnosis on the Kyogre and just hope that Groudon can survive.
We have seen the Rayquaza on Alan's team use Water Pulse before and have particularly trained Groudon survive that.
Right. And even in the best case scenario for Alan where that water move does KO the Groudon, at least if you're Michael, you get the knowledge that Rayquaza has a water move, if he doesn't already know.
So Michael is just going to go ahead and get the Gravity up while Alan is protecting his Rayquaza. Groudon does go first, not going to deal any damage to Rayquaza, but will connect with the Kyogre. Is it going to be enough damage? It's only a little bit under 50% damage, and Origin Pulse is going to connect, at least with Bronzong, but both Pokemon, and it looks like that's going to be a double KO. Alan's going to take game 1 over Michael.
Yeah, I think I would have gone for the Hypnosis on the Kyogre there, simply because by using Gravity, Origin Pulse now cannot
guarantees
miss.
The Origin Pulse.
So then it would definitely KO the Groudon and the Bronzong. So by doing that, you pretty much have no win condition, but by Hypnosising the Kyogre, at least there's a small chance that you can win.
Yeah, so it looks like Michael just got a little bit ahead of himself there. Didn't want to risk potentially a hypnosis out of gravity, but you know, there's really at that point there really wasn't much of an option, I think.
Yeah, maybe switching it up in game 2, maybe bringing the Xerneas. We saw the last match from Alan when he played against this same kind of team. He did not have to face Xerneas. Maybe Michael should consider bringing Xerneas to this game, or just playing a little bit differently. He certainly got out to a good position, but then once the back 2 Pokemon came out for both sides, he only had 1 restricted to Alan's 2, and he brought Groudon, which Alan is particularly aiming to counter.
Yeah, I mean, if we've seen anything out of Alan's team over the course of this weekend, it's that he is overcompensating for defeating Groudon. So almost like he has the Water Pulse on Rayquaza. He, of course, has Kyogre. We've even seen the Hidden Power Water on Thundurus. So whatever he brings, he's going to have an answer for Groudon. So if you're relying explicitly and only on Groudon for your offensive power and for your restricted Pokemon slots, then you're going to have a bad time against Alan's team.
Yeah, definitely. So I think Michael needs to make an adjustment there. He can't rely solely on his Groudon. I just don't think it's enough against Alan. Even if he gets up the Trick Room, which we saw he did, Kyogre's just so bulky. Rayquaza even has a Focus Sash, and you have to use Gravity to even set up Groudon to be able to hit it. So
yeah, that Groudon did less than 50% with the Precipice Blades against that Kyogre. It's a 3-hit KO.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of Kyogres in this tournament being trained to be more bulky and survive those Groudon Precipice Blades with a little bit over half HP to make them 3-hit KOs.
Yeah, and obviously you can see that paying off here for Alan. I mean, that's one of the, you know, if you're going to run Rayquaza Kyogre, you have to have an answer for Groudon. We've seen Groudon be basically the most important Pokemon in this tournament. You know, Xerneas is a huge powerhouse on its own, but the Groudon's really carrying not just the Xerneas Groudon core, but a lot of other teams as well. And, you know, Alan prepped for that. You know, he knew that Groudon was going to be important, so he overcompensated and made sure that he would have an answer for Groudon no matter what mode he brings.
Yeah, definitely. But if I'm Michael, remember, he did get off to a pretty good start. He missed that Dark Void thanks to that accuracy drop.
Yeah.
If he had hit that on Crobat, he never would have been taunted. So this battle could have turned out completely differently had that Dark Void hit.
Yeah, but that's just something that happens with Smeargle sometimes.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can rely. I mean, even on its own, Dark Void could miss.
Yeah, definitely. That's a price you pay by using Smeargle and by using Dark Void. But there are still some positives for Michael to take from that last game, and that would be one of them, that Dark Void missed. But again, it's not something you should be relying. He should still adjust something else, perhaps the Xerneas.
Yeah, well, we are going to see what adjustments Michael makes. Again, this is our elimination round, so these are single elimination brackets. Michael needs to win this game, or he will be going home. And if Alan wins this game, he will move on to the top 4 of our national championships. Michael actually leading Smeargle Bronzong this time up against Gengar Crobat. And that's a pretty good lead for Alan.
Yeah, especially since we saw in his previous game that Gengar has Shadow Ball. So that does a lot of damage to Bronzong. A Super Fang from Crobat and then a Shadow Ball on Bronzong will actually knock it out.
Yeah, and Gengar is going to go ahead and Mega Evolve immediately, locking in the Smeargle and the Bronzong. Smeargle going for a Crafty Shield to protect against a taunt. So no taunt on onto the Bronzong. Sludge Bomb will come through onto Smeargle. Gets a 1-hit KO though. Smeargle obviously showing that he was Mental Herb earlier. Gets the Sludge Bomb KO. Bronzong sets up Trick Room though.
Now this
and
is
now
actually
Michael
really
gets
good
a switch
because
in.
if he brings Groudon in, he can Gravity with Bronzong and pick up a 1-hit KO on both Crobat and Gengar.
Yeah, Michael's all of a sudden like, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me and my Gravity Groudon.
Yep, and then when Alan does bring in that Rayquaza, that Kyogre,
they're going to take damage.
Gravity will already be up, so Groudon can simply Precipice Blades, but the Bronzong can also Hypnosis.
Yeah, really good turn there for Michael, allowing that Smeargle to go down, protecting the Bronzong with that Crafty Shield, which I don't believe, which would be, you know, it's a tech that we see a lot on Smeargle, but we haven't seen that much of it this tournament. So maybe Alan, you know, thought that Crafty Shield wasn't on there, or just made the wrong call there.
Yeah, I think if he was predicting the Crafty Shield, he certainly should have gone for something like a Super Fang plus a Shadow Ball to knock out that Bronzong. But at the same time, maybe he was worried. I don't know. Maybe he was worried that Smeargle would then Dark Void both of his Pokemon.
You do always have to be afraid of a Dark Void coming out from Smeargle.
Yeah, it's just the Crobat does have Lumberry, so it's not as big of a deal. This is certainly the worst situation for Alan to be in.
This is the nightmare scenario for Crobat and Mega Gengar. Gravity now. Groudon able to get the Precipice Blades out. Crobat not able to hide anymore with its flying type, and it will go down to that Precipice Blades, of course, holding the Lumberry that we already saw. So Michael able to pick up a KO here, but fortunately Alan will be able to switch in one of his back Pokemon for free.
Yeah, now it depends what Alan brings in here, but I don't know if I like keeping Mega Gengar around. I
would have rather had
preferred
both
to see it faint, because now Michael doesn't really have to worry about this Mega Gengar for now. He can just, now he can definitely Hypnosis Kyogre, and he doesn't really, Gengar doesn't really threaten Groudon too much.
It threatens Bronzong, but if Alan's focusing on the Bronzong and Groudon's still able to just keep knocking out all of your Pokemon, that's not really worth it.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing would be if Gengar had something like a Hidden Power Water, but that would rely on Groudon not using Precipice Blades. And since he's shown Shadow Ball previously, we don't know if he even has room for that
we've
Hidden
seen
Power
Shadow
Water.
Ball, and Sludge Bomb, and Protect. So we don't know what his fourth move is, I don't believe, but we will.
It's Will-O-Wisp, actually. We've seen that, so we know he doesn't have Hidden Power Water. Michael, on the other hand, may not know.
Well, Kyogre is going to Protect, and Rayquaza will switch in because that he does get the switch in, so he does now have both of his restricted Pokemon in. But because of that, Groudon's going to get the Swords Dance for free. So Groudon able now to Swords Dance, get those boosts, and now Bronzong can put one of these Pokemon to sleep, and Groudon can clean up the other one.
Yeah, on the downside though, Rayquaza does have a Focus Sash, so Groudon will not be able to knock it out with the Precipice Blades. And we saw previously Precipice Blades do just under half to the Kyogre,
yeah,
so
still
this
be
Precipice
enough.
Blades should still not be enough to knock it out.
Oh, but Alan is going to withdraw the Kyogre in the first place, switching that out in favor of the Mega Gengar. Wants to get that Switch Lock in place again. Rayquaza will Protect, just trying to stall out this Trick Room, it looks like. Rayquaza protecting itself. Bronzong uses the Gyro Ball into the Protect. Groudon will hit the Precipice Blades onto Mega Gengar, but another turn of Trick Room wasted. And now Kyogre gets to come back in here. It can Protect again. Rayquaza then will have one turn where it is, has the Focus Sash and can't go down unless it gets double targeted again.
Yeah, but it just protected, so the odds of another Protect working are pretty low. Pretty much nothing changed on Alan's side. He lost Mega Gengar for free. He did stall out one turn of Trick Room, but I don't know if that's worth it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if he kept that Kyogre in, Michael did not target that Kyogre with either a Gyro Ball or a Hypnosis, so...
Went out for the Rayquaza instead.
Right, so that Kyogre definitely would have still been around after the Precipice Blades, and it may have been able to pick up a KO on Groudon and done a lot to that Bronzong.
All right, well, Rayquaza does go for the Protect again. It will survive this turn, gets the double Protect. Bronzong's Gyro Ball into the Protect again, and Precipice Blades into the Protect and will connect with the Kyogre. So Kyogre no Protect here, but Rayquaza did go for the double Protect. A lot of damage, but not quite enough. Like we saw before, just not quite enough damage to get through Alan's bulky Kyogre. The Origin Pulse will connect, get the KO onto Groudon, and deal a good amount of damage to Bronzong. So another turn of Trick Room down. Actually, the dimensions will return to normal after that because of the play that Alan made to switch around, but Xerneas now on the field doesn't even need the boost to start dealing a lot of damage.
No, so Michael's in a great spot here. You have to wonder if Alan didn't bring in that Mega Gengar for pretty much nothing, and this turn happened one turn earlier. He'd be in a much better spot having that Mega Gengar against the Xerneas and the Bronzong.
Well, it looks like Xerneas and Bronzong are staring down the Kyogre and the Rayquaza. So Rayquaza can still get extreme speed damage out. It does still have the Focus Sash, so it will not go down to an attack from the Xerneas immediately. Goes for the Dragon Ascent, trying to get as much damage as possible onto that Xerneas. It does deal some good amount of damage, but not enough. Less than 50% damage. Rayquaza does lose all of its defenses there. Dazzling Gleam comes through. Will connect with the Kyogre and the Rayquaza. Pick up the KO onto Kyogre. Hit Rayquaza down to its Sash. And now Bronzong can clean up with this Gyro Ball. And Michael Lanzano is forcing a Game 3 here.
Yeah, very well played by Michael. That's the adjustment that I was hoping to see. That Xerneas.
Xerneas came through huge in this game.
It really did.
Without that Xerneas in the back, he was in a much more difficult position.
He certainly was, so I'd sure expect to see that in Game 3. I don't think Michael needs to change anything. We saw how well that worked in Game 1. At the same time, I think Alan does need to make an adjustment. He can't let Bronzong set up Trick Room for Groudon in the perfect, ideal situation that we saw last game.
Right, getting that extra turn when the Smeargle fainted.
Yeah, because Michael, pretty much like you said, Alan was the one with his Pokemon trapped in because he was just in such a bad spot having Crobat and Mega Gengar under Trick Room with Groudon threatening a KO after Gravity. He couldn't really switch in and let his Pokemon take unnecessary damage. So,
yeah.
Michael just set up the ideal trick room.
Yeah, and it's interesting, the Crobat and Gengar lead, which has served Alan pretty well in his last few matches on stream, really turned around to bite him on that one because it just wasn't good enough to stop the trick room setup, which it really needs to do.
The thing was, though, it was good enough. If he did go for the Super Fang and Shadow Ball onto that Bronzong, rather than taunting when Smeargle goes for the Crafty Shield, he would have picked up a free KO.
So is it just a matter of the call that he made on that one turn, now that he knows that Smeargle is carrying the Crafty Shield?
Yep, I think so. I think that is the adjustment I'd like to see there. But at the same time, I don't know if Michael will lead the same. It certainly worked last game, but he has to expect that. I mean, that went perfectly for him. So maybe switch things up a little bit. Still bring the same kind of Pokemon. Definitely still bring Xerneas. But maybe not lead the same Smeargle Bronzong lead.
All right, we'll have to see what adjustments these players make, if any. Again, this is an elimination match. This is an elimination game. The winner of this game moves on to the top 4. We will see them back here tomorrow to play for the title of national champion, and the loser has to go home knowing they came so close but didn't quite make it.
Yeah, but top 8 still a very good showing. I'm sure both players will be happy with that result at the end of the day.
These are two veteran players who top 8 is good, but they're used to that. They want the championship instead.
Yeah, definitely. But for Michael, he had 0 champion points coming into this. I'm sure this top 8 is enough to propel him into Worlds. So he'll be happy at that. But like you said, these players are veterans. They've been there, done that with a bunch of high finishes and then wins at regionals. But they really want to win at nationals.
Yeah, and this is their make or break moment. They have to decide what changes they're going to make, if any. Michael Lanzano on the bottom part of your stream is going to lead the Smeargle and Salamence instead, while Alan is going to go back to that Crobat Gengar. So looks like Michael's back to the first game's lead.
Yeah, so Michael's going back to the first game, which I don't mind as long as Xerneas is in the back, because I remember in game 1, after he weakened Crobat and Gengar enough and fainted them, it's just his back 2 lost to Alan's back 2.
Right.
But if there's a Xerneas back there against a Rayquaza and a Kyogre, suddenly Michael's in a much better spot.
All right, well, Mega Gengar is about to be on the field as it goes ahead and Mega Evolves, locking the Smeargle and the Salamence in on this battlefield. Salamence also going to Mega Evolve itself, so now with both Mega Pokemon on the field, the real battle can begin. Smeargle does go for the Crafty Shield again here, so wants to block any kind of taunts or any other kind of shenanigans from Alan's team. The Crobat again goes for the Tailwind, like on game 1 with this lead. Gengar uses the Sludge Bomb again as well, will connect with the Smeargle. We already know that picks up the KO. Smeargle will go down. Salamence now needs to be able to make something happen, goes for the Tailwind himself. So key adjustment here is Michael matches the Tailwind.
Oh, I don't know if that's good. Michael loses Smeargle for nothing, and all that happens is a match Tailwind, so the speeds will be the same going forward during these Tailwind turns. So Michael pretty much just loses his Smeargle for nothing.
Yeah, Michael seemed to be really concerned about getting struggled again from the taunt from Crobat.
Yeah, definitely. But if you're in that kind of situation, right, he has the Mental Herb, but if you're in that kind of situation, then why even bring Smeargle and keep it in against this lead if that's what you're scared of?
Well, what does Michael have in the back that can deal with this? Does he have the options? If he has Xerneas, I mean, Xerneas isn't going to be able to deal much of anything to the Crobat and Gengar, both of which threaten it with Super Fang and Sludge Bomb combo before it can even get to the Geomancy.
That's exactly why he needs to wait before bringing Xerneas in until he weakens or KOs the Gengar and the Crobat. Bringing it in now, just not a good spot for it.
All right, well, Xerneas is on the field regardless, trapped with the Crobat and Gengar on Alan's side. Salamence will be able to deal a lot of damage, but, you know, I have to wonder, Super Fang plus Sludge Bomb should be enough for the KO, depending on how bulky Michael's Xerneas has been trained, or how offensive that Mega Gengar has been trained.
Yeah, definitely, but Michael's just not in a good spot here. You have to imagine Alan goes for an attack here. Michael's going to have to predict. Hopefully, he's thinking that Alan doubles up into one of his Pokemon, and he's able to guess which one and protect the right one.
Well, he thinks it's going to be the Xerneas. Xerneas will protect this turn. Crobat goes for the Super Fang, but Alan correctly predicts that Xerneas would be protecting here. Goes for the Super Fang onto the Salamence, and the Sludge Bomb, the double target. Alan picks up the double target onto Salamence, and Salamence goes down. So Xerneas there protecting, not doing anything, not even getting a Geomancy boost off there. Crobat and Gengar making short work of these Pokemon, as Groudon now out on the field for Michael. But without the gravity, and with Groudon being slow, with Alan's team also having the tailwind up, it's not too threatening.
Yeah, this game's going to be over for Alan's favor, simply because he's likely got that Rayquaza Kyogre in the back. Xerneas just protected. Michael really hasn't done anything so far this match, and it just protected Xerneas, so the odds of another protect working
Alan's
are
Pokemon
pretty
are
low.
at full health.
Right, Alan can simply double up into Xerneas, try and pick up a knockout there. Very low chance that another protect comes through.
We have seen a few of those, though.
Right, but even if it does, he's still in a great spot because there's no way Michael can KO both Crobat and Gengar with
Michael
Groudon.
doesn't get the double protect there. Super Fang coming out from Crobat. Will this Sludge Bomb be enough to pick up the KO onto Xerneas? Mega Gengar does go for it. Xerneas does go down. Super effective hit. So Xerneas is now down after the Crobat and the Mega Gengar focus it down. Michael does finally get some damage off with the Fire Punch onto Mega Gengar, so will pick up a KO. Not going to get 4-0'd here in the top 8, but Alan in a very dominant position. Really just needs to bring out, well, can bring out Rayquaza or Kyogre here.
Yep,
doesn't really matter.
Either one will seal it for Alan. So very well played by him. You can see the advantage that he had coming into this matchup, having so many counters to Groudon. And Michael just kind of fell into that kind of trap of having Groudon out at inopportune times, games 1 and 3. Game 2 worked perfectly for him, but then game 3 you saw the slight adjustment back to how game 1 turned out. It's just he let Smeargle go down so easily.